On my birthday, my husband gifted me a brand new car. My sister mocked me. My mom snapped my arm to hand her the keys. She wrecked it completely. But then my husband arrived and made my whole family tremble in fear. I am 29, and a few weeks ago, I celebrated my birthday. My husband, who is 31, planned a surprise that left me in tears of joy. He took me outside, blindfolded me, and when he removed the cloth, I saw a shiny brand new car waiting in the driveway. My heart almost stopped because I could not believe what I was seeing. I do not come from a rich family, and all my life I have been used to living with less, so big expensive gifts like this always make me a bit uncomfortable. But my husband's face was glowing with excitement, and he told me that he wanted me to finally have something special just for myself. He said that I was always putting other people's needs before my own, and this time he wanted to show me that I deserved something precious too. His words melted my heart, and I hugged him so tight because I had never felt so loved and appreciated before. In that moment, a strange thought came into my mind. Even though my relationship with my family has always been full of tension and pain, I still wanted to share my happiness with them. I thought maybe, just maybe, this time they would be happy for me. My sister, who is 27, has always been the favorite. My parents have always treated her like she could do no wrong, while I have always been treated like I owed them something just for being born. Still, a piece of my heart wanted to believe that for once, they would celebrate my happiness instead of trying to tear it apart. So I drove the car straight to their house, thinking that maybe my birthday could be different this year. The moment I pulled into their driveway, my sister walked out, took one look at the car, and snorted with disgust. She looked at me with that same smug expression she always carried and said, "I wonder who wasted money on you." Her words stung deep inside me, but I did what I have always done. I swallowed the pain, smiled politely, and got out of the car without saying anything back. But she was not done yet. Without even blinking, she stretched out her hand and demanded to take the car for a ride. I was shocked, but I tried to answer calmly. I said no. It was my gift, my birthday, and I did not feel comfortable handing over the keys. That was when my parents decided to join in. My father raised his voice and barked at me. "Don't be selfish. Hand over the keys to your sister." My heart sank because I could not believe what I was hearing. It was my car, my husband's gift, and yet I was being treated like a greedy child for simply saying no. I tried to refuse again, but things escalated faster than I could ever imagine. My mother walked up to me, grabbed my arm, and twisted it with so much force that I heard a crack. Pain exploded through my body, and I screamed, but she just smiled sweetly while shoving the keys into my sister's hand. "Here, honey, go for a ride," she said softly, as if she had done something kind. I could not believe what just happened. My arm was burning with pain, already swelling, and yet my parents looked at me like I was being dramatic. My sister jumped into the car and drove off, leaving me behind standing helplessly with tears in my eyes. When she returned a while later, the car was scratched, dented, and even the side mirror was hanging loose. She threw the keys at my face and said coldly, "Guess it's not new anymore." My parents laughed, treating my pain and loss as a joke. And that was the moment my husband pulled into the driveway. He got out of his truck, slammed the door shut, and took one look at me holding my arm, the car damaged beyond recognition, and my sister standing there with a smirk. His expression changed completely, and I saw a fire in his eyes that I had never seen before. My family, who had been laughing just moments earlier, suddenly looked nervous. He rushed to my side immediately, his voice shaking with rage and concern. "What happened? Who did this to you?" he demanded. With tears running down my cheeks, I whispered, "Mom twisted my arm. She broke it. They forced me to hand over the keys." That was all he needed to hear. He turned toward them with anger exploding out of him. "Are you insane?" he shouted at my parents. "You assaulted your own daughter? You think this is a joke? She could need surgery because of what you did." Then he pointed straight at my sister. "And you took the car I worked so hard to buy for her and wrecked it in a single ride." My sister's smirk instantly disappeared. My mother tried to do what she always does, twist the story. She said, "Oh, don't exaggerate. She just tripped. And the car? Accidents happen. No big deal." But my husband was not falling for it. He pulled out his phone right there and said loud enough for everyone to hear, "Perfect. You just admitted it. I'm calling the police." My father's face turned pale. He tried to stop him, saying, "Son, please, don't make this a big deal. We're family. You don't call the cops on family." But my husband snapped back immediately.
No.
Family doesn't break your daughter's arm on her birthday. Family doesn't treat her car like it belongs to everyone else. You don't get to hide behind that word anymore. Their faces were filled with panic. My mother's voice turned cold and full of venom as she hissed, "This is your influence. She was ours before she was yours. Don't think you can take her away from us." Those words made me feel like ice was running through my veins. In that moment, I realized that she never truly saw me as a person. To her, I was just a possession. My husband took my hand carefully, looked at me with concern, and said, "Get in the car. We're going to the hospital right now." He helped me into his truck, then turned back one last time to glare at my family. His voice was firm and cold as stone. "This isn't over. Not even close." At the hospital, everything felt like a dream mixed with a nightmare. The nurses rushed me into an examination room, and my husband stayed right by my side the whole time. My arm was already swollen, and every movement sent waves of pain shooting through me. The doctor took x-rays and came back with a stern look on his face. He told me that my arm was fractured, and I would need a cast for several weeks. If the bone did not heal properly, surgery might be required. Hearing those words made my heart sink, but at the same time I felt a strange kind of relief because at least now I had proof that I wasn't just being dramatic like my family loved to claim. My husband's face was full of anger and worry as he paced back and forth like a caged lion, muttering under his breath that they had gotten away with too much for too long. As I sat in that hospital bed with my arm wrapped, I realized that for the first time in my life, I wasn't alone. My husband wanted to file a police report right away, and while a part of me felt terrified of the storm that would follow, another part of me knew deep inside that he was right. My family had always controlled the narrative. They would spin stories, call me overdramatic, and paint themselves as the victims while I was left looking like the crazy one. But this time things were different. This time my husband had witnessed everything. Neighbors had heard the shouting, and the evidence was sitting right on my arm and on the damaged car. That night, still sitting in the hospital room, my husband filed a police report. He gave every detail, how my mother twisted my arm, how my father pressured me to hand over the keys, how my sister took the car and brought it back damaged. When the officer turned to me and asked directly, "Do you want to pursue charges?" I felt my heart racing. All my life I had said nothing, let them hurt me, let them take from me, and I stayed silent because I was afraid. But this time I looked at that officer, took a deep breath, and said, "Yes." That one word felt like freedom. The calls started later that same night. My phone buzzed over and over, and I refused to answer. My mother left a voicemail, her voice sickly sweet but filled with venom. "You've always been ungrateful. After everything we've done for you, this is how you repay us? A little accident, and you want to ruin your own family? Disgusting." A few minutes later, my sister called, crying hysterically. She said, "You're ruining my life. They said I could lose my license, maybe even face charges for theft. I just wanted to drive it. Why are you being so selfish?" I blocked her number without replying. Then my father tried calling my husband directly. My husband put it on speaker, and my father's voice was cold as ice. "Drop this. You're married to her, not us. Don't think you can turn her against her blood." My husband actually laughed and replied, "She was already against you the moment you broke her arm and trashed her car. I don't need to turn her. You did that to yourselves." For once, my father had no words. The police came by the next morning to take more evidence. They photographed my arm, the bruising, and took pictures of the car that was still sitting damaged in our driveway. My husband had already called the insurance company, and they said we needed a police report anyway since it counted as unauthorized use and property damage. Meanwhile, my family was already trying to spread lies. A cousin texted me saying they were telling everyone that I had thrown myself on the driveway to fake an injury and that some stranger had vandalized the car just to frame them. But this time their lies were not working. Too many people had seen and heard what really happened. The truth could not be buried. Weeks passed in a storm of chaos. The police went ahead with charges. My mother was charged with assault causing bodily harm. My sister faced unauthorized use of a motor vehicle and property damage. My parents tried every trick they could, guilt trips, fake apologies, even showing up at our house to yell at me that I was betraying my blood. But my husband had already installed security cameras around our property, and every time they showed up, their meltdowns were recorded. He handed the footage straight to the police, and soon a restraining order was placed. Suddenly, the family who had controlled my life could not come within 200 feet of me or my home. For the first time ever, there was silence instead of constant chaos. When court day came, I felt like my whole body was shaking. My mother walked in wearing her best church outfit, pretending to be a sweet, misunderstood parent. My sister sobbed in front of everyone, saying that this would ruin her future. My father glared at me from across the room, whispering that I was destroying my own family. But then my husband took the stand. His voice was clear and strong as he told the court exactly what he saw, how he found me holding my broken arm, how he watched them laugh while my sister destroyed my car, how he heard every word they said. Then neighbors were called to testify. They spoke about hearing my parents shouting, about seeing my husband threaten to call the police, about watching the confrontation in the driveway. One by one, my family's lies fell apart. The verdict came as a shock to them. My mother was given probation, community service, and mandatory anger management classes. My sister lost her license for 2 years, was ordered to pay restitution for the car damages, and now carried a record that would follow her. It was not jail time, but it was enough to finally prove to them that they were not untouchable. Outside the courtroom, my mother cornered me, her voice low and full of venom. She hissed, "I hope you're happy. You've destroyed this family." And for the first time in my life, I did not shrink back. I looked straight into her eyes and said, "No, you destroyed this family the day you broke my arm." Then I turned and walked away without looking back. Months have passed since then, and my arm is healing well. The car has been repaired, and every time I sit behind the wheel, I do not just see a birthday gift. I see freedom. I see the moment I finally broke free from years of control and cruelty. My husband and I cut off all contact, blocked every number, and even moved to a new place without giving them our address. The peace we have now is priceless. Sometimes I catch my husband looking at me with that same fierce, protective fire in his eyes, and I know he would burn the whole world down before letting anyone hurt me again. And for the first time in my life, I believe him. In the end, I realized that my birthday gift was not just a car. It was my independence. It was the start of a new chapter where I am finally free. My family tried to break me, but instead, they only made me stronger. And now, I am done living in their shadow forever. So, what do you think? Was I right to finally cut all ties with my toxic family, or should I have given them yet another chance? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this.